Hello and welcome to this special edition brought to you by Republic World. Today we have a very special guest with us on Republic Media Network, Viraj Bahl. Hello sir, we welcome you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So sir, let's start about your journey with Veeba. You call yourself as a failed entrepreneur. What's the story behind it?
Failed entrepreneur, the story behind is that before I started Veeba, I had a chain of restaurants and it failed miserably. My reason of calling myself a failed restaurateur is very important. I want especially the youth of India to realize that failure is a part of life. Failure should not be taken as the worst thing that happens to you, because you can bounce back from failure. And failure to me is a very good teacher. The amount I learned from my failed business, I don't think Veeba would have been successful if that business would not have failed. So I think it is for myself that I wear it as a badge of honor, but also for the young founders and young entrepreneurs, for them to realize that failing is okay. I want to normalize failure. I don't want failure to be a stigma for anyone.
So you have joined Shark Tank season 4.
Yes.
What made you make that decision? And now that you see all the aspiring entrepreneurs, what are the key details you see that you have faced and they are also going through the same?
So first of all, I'm still not used to the idea of calling myself a shark. So yes, but I have joined Shark Tank in season 4. The idea is very simple. God has been really kind to me, and how can I give back? How can I help founders? And I understand somebody might say you're paying them money, taking equity, so it's not something. But you have to understand that you find companies out of Shark Tank which you end up helping even without investing in them. So I think it's my way of kind of saying thank you to God for, it's my way of helping other founders, because sometimes when I was starting out, I needed help of a experienced founder. It's my aim to try and do that. But also, yes, I take that seat of a shark with a lot of responsibility. It is money going into the right kind of founder, right kind of company. So I take that pretty seriously.
So a decade back, being an entrepreneur was not so cool, but now with the coming generation, it's such a cool thing to be.
Yeah.
What's your view on that?
I think don't you think it's amazing? And I feel that for India to achieve its Viksit Bharat dream, entrepreneurship is very important. So the more number of young people who become entrepreneurs, the better it is. And now it's become cool. My niece, that they told me that she wants to become an entrepreneur. So how cool is that? But at the same time, I want to tell all entrepreneurs one thing, or aspiring entrepreneurs one thing: it's not easy, it's difficult, बहुत hard work करना पड़ता है, बहुत काम करना पड़ता है. So become an entrepreneur for the right reasons. Don't become an entrepreneur मेरे को startup खोलना है. You have to be passionate about the cause, because you will be tested.
So let's talk about your brand, Veeba. When you entered, there was a lot of competition in the market.
Yes.
And I was reading somewhere the name comes from your mother's name.
Yes.
So what was the story behind it? And when you were entering, there were other brands like Tops and Kisan. What made you think that you can establish yourself here as a brand?
So my reason of naming the brand after my mom is I get a lot of my work ethic from my mother. So that is one reason. It was my ode to her. आज तक मैं हर एक चीज़ की लिस्ट बनाता हूँ, वो मैंने उनसे ही सीखा था. I make a list for everything. So other than that, I think it's a cool sounding name. Veeba is a great name. But to answer your question, basically it is competition was there, competition is there today also, but luckily we are in a country where consumption is booming. So there is place for all the names you mentioned. There is space for us, there is space for other companies also. But you have to focus on only one thing: giving the best value product to the consumer. Best value का ये मतलब नहीं होता कि cheapest product. Value for money. Indians seek value for money. So if you're giving a value for money sauce or an aeroplane, whatever you're giving, there will be a consumer for it. So not focus on the competition so much, focus on the consumer and focus on giving the consumer value for money products.
So one of the major deals you had with this brand was the collaboration with Domino's.
Yes.
And then it got into the chain of lines to Burger King, to KFC and to Pizza Hut. What was the strategic move in your mind behind this move?
You've done a lot of homework, I must compliment that. So Domino's was our first client. Then we got Burger King and Pizza Hut, KFC. Even today, that business, the B2B business is still 6-7% of our revenue is still B2B, and in that business, Domino's continues to be the largest client. But there was no strategy. The strategy was very simple. Dhanda chahiye, paise kamane. There was no strategy. There was just no strategy. It was business de do, please de do. That was the only strategy. So it wasn't some well thought of strategy that first I will get Domino's, then I'll get this, and then I'll get this. I wanted everything. I wanted to earn money. That was the only strategy.
And so when you enter a FMCG market, it's the product which is going to be in the households. The price factor always comes, especially in India. How do you take that factor in your mind before you put out a new product?
See, as I said, there's a big misconception that Indian consumer is Kanjoos. Indian consumer is not Kanjoos. As I said right now, Indian consumer is a value conscious consumer. So we are more expensive than all our honorable opposition, but the consumer is willing to spend that 1-2-3% extra for Veeba is because they understand we are giving value for money in that extra price also. Our success clearly shows that the Indian consumer is not Kanjoos but is value conscious. So if they can understand why are they paying 2-3% extra, maybe it is low oil, maybe it is zero preservatives, some benefit we are giving, because of which they are willing to pay extra.
So before we let you go, I have this last question for you. What is that words of wisdom you want to give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Okay, that's a big question. Words of wisdom, see, I think, everybody talks about passion. Okay, to do a startup, you need to be passionate. I want to add one more P to passion, is perseverance. Because it is not going to be easy. If you like your sleep, don't become an entrepreneur. आपको सुबह 4 बजे उठना ही पड़ेगा. You'll have to work hard like you can't imagine. You'll get fried, boiled, tested at every day. So passion will only take you that far, but passion with a dose of perseverance. That is what is required to be a startup founder.
Thank you, sir, for joining us on Republic Media Network. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure. Thank you.